What's up? Andy here from mydaywillcome.com, and today I'm going to give you a quick video review of the new Xbox 360 Silver controller with the transforming D-pad right there. We'll get back to that in a second, but first things first, I want to give Microsoft props for actually having a normal box to put these things in. If you've ever purchased an Xbox 360 controller before, or anything from Microsoft really, you'll know they usually come in these airtight plastic blister packages, which require either scissors or X-Acto knives or I don't know a forklift to open because by the time you're done with it, you're bleeding from every orifice and it's not pretty sight. Fortunately, though, this comes in a normal box. As you can see, is you just open it up with flaps and you slide it out and it comes right out. That's a good thing. Props to them for that. What do you get inside? You get a battery pack here, which is you put your normal AA batteries, nothing special there. You also get a play and charge cable, which allows you to charge the controller while you're playing at the same time, basically turning it into a wired controller. It's nothing new. It's black. It's the same as you would get normally. Yeah, so that's that. And onto the controller. The controller, there's a few cosmetic things that are different from the old one. First thing is that you'll notice that there's an Xbox 360 logo here instead of the Microsoft logo from the old one. A little different. And on the back, on the bottom here, it's made of the same shiny plastic as up here, whereas on the old one it was kind of the same matte finish as the controller. And you'll notice that the buttons. The guide button is now a shiny chrome, whereas the old one had a more dull finish to it. Yeah, it's shiny. Shiny things are good. The other major thing is that the buttons on the right over here, you'll notice they don't have color anymore. They are shades of white, gray, and black. I don't know if this might be an issue for you if you're the type of gamer that requires big prompts to guide you in your button presses. And if you're playing a game that has a QuickTime event that says press the giant red B button, if you go by color, then you might be a little lost. But imagine most people go by muscle memory of the button locations, so no big deal there. But here we come to the big changes, which come in the form of these the sticks and the D-pad. First, the sticks. You can see here. The sticks have like this concave indent into them, which is quite a bit different from the old controller, which did have a little concave indent, but there were these three dots, kind of like holding your finger, your thumbs in place. It may not sound like a big difference, but when you get this thing and when you hold it, it is a ton more comfortable, especially when you are playing first-person shooters like Halo or any game that requires you to have your thumbs on the sticks a lot. You're going to feel a ton more comfortable there. Major plus there. And here we get to the main event, which is the D-pad. You'll notice there's a little sticker there that kind of changes if you move it, like one of those old pop-up books or children's books. It's fun times. But you'll notice the D-pad here. This is in the normal position, which is very similar to the old controller. It's very loose. But if you press down, you got to press down, kind of do a little switch, and voila, it becomes a D-pad, much like kind of like the old SNES controller, where it's very precise. Now, I was a little concerned with this at first because even in this position, it still feels kind of loose-ish. Which is, I think, one of the big complaints about the D-pad is that it kind of just floats everywhere. But I loaded up Super Street Fighter 4. While I'm not a professional player by any stretch of the imagination, I managed to complete the arcade mode without continuing or dying or losing a round once, and even beating Seth in one shot, which. If any of you have ever played it before, you'll know that Seth isn't exactly a trivial. Beating Seth isn't exactly a trivial feat. I was knocking off shoryukens and fireballs very easily and on demand. The biggest problem with the the old controller was that it's kind of hard to figure out, kind of hard to precisely do what you want when you want. When I was playing Street Fighter 4, I had no problem doing any ultra combo or anything whenever I wanted to. I even could change it like it was the arcade machine. It was fabulous. So the D-pad does work as advertised. It's a little bit loose, so I don't know if that's a big sticking point for you. You may want to try it out before you take the plunge. And the sticks, I don't know what it was, but I vlogged a few hours in a Halo Reach with this thing. It definitely felt a bit more sensitive. Actually, I felt like I had to turn down my sensitivity marker from 3 to 2 to get back to my comfort zone in terms of sensitivity. So it feels like it's a little more precise, a little more sensitive in terms of the joystick sensitivity. But I think it's a good thing. Having more precise tracking is always a good thing. And it's also easier to click on these things. You notice it's kind of hard to show in video, but if you hold one of these things, it's not only is it comfortable, it's more comfortable. It's easier to click for easy zoom or crouching or whatever behavior you would like to use with your controller. So this thing, the downside of this is that it costs $64.99 retail. That's because it includes the play and charge kit, which is a rechargeable battery and the cable. Normally that thing's like $20 by itself. So if you don't have a rechargeable battery or play and charge kit and you need a new controller, this is a great deal because you're saving $5 off the retail price. But if you already have one, it's kind of a bummer to have to be forced to buy a new set of batteries just for the new controller. Fortunately, there have been some deals. I saw something at buy.com the other day that had this thing for $48.99 in its entirety, which is a very good deal because that's cheaper than a normal controller, a normal wireless controller would be. So if you can get it at that price, it's worth it. I recommend this thing if you either need a new controller, really hate your D-pad, or need a wireless battery. All those things add up to making this a very worthwhile purchase. If you already have a controller, you don't need anything, you feel free to skip this. It's not a revolutionary new way to play your games. It's just more comfortable, a little more precise, and D-pads is if you don't play Street Fighter or any other 2D fighting game, you may not have a burning desire to have a new D-pad. So it's not for everybody, but if those people who are looking for such improvements, it's a very good purchase, and I recommend it. All right, thanks guys.